it is a very emotional time for all of us that were there on stage with Michael. And I have to say that everyone, the first thing that people ask me, my friends who call and ask, was Michael sick? Was he weak? Was he ill? Was the absolute opposite of that. He was very energetic, he was happy, he was even more playful than he normally was at rehearsal. Everybody in the band has ear monitors, so we could hear Michael talking, through his microphone when he was backstage or changing clothes. And, he was kidding around with his wardrobe people, with the makeup people. He was in a very, very up mood.
What was he saying? What was he saying?
He would tease, Karen Faye is the woman that's dressed him ever since I've known him, which is about 22 years. And he calls her Turco, and he would just tease her and poke fun at her. And Michael Bush is the guy who makes Michael's clothes and always has for these many years. And he would, he was just full of jokes and full of life. And that's why when I heard the news, I thought it was a mistake or a hoax. It took me until I got in, because we were due at rehearsal at 4:30 on Thursday. And it was Thursday afternoon when I found out. And it even took me a couple of days to actually believe it and accept it.
When you were with him and you were rehearsing on that evening, what was he like? Was he tired? Was he lethargic? Was he upbeat? Can you describe for us what it was like to be with him?
We started rehearsal about a month and a half ago, and he was great. I was told when I came on and I started auditioning singers that he was working out every day. He was dancing. His schedule was he'd work out in the morning, he'd get with the dancers, and then he'd do vocal lessons. And he was there every day, which is different from the way it's been since I've worked with him. We wouldn't come together until the last few weeks. He'd be off with the dancers, and the band would be off with the band, and the singers would be off doing their thing. Michael was there, he was present, he was completely in it. And
how many hours was he rehearsing? How many hours did he rehearse a day?
He would rehearse with us a couple of hours, with the band a couple of hours a day.
Would he take breaks?
Oh yeah, everybody. We take breaks after every couple of songs. We take a break, because all of us needed it, because it was hot. We were in the Forum for a couple of weeks, and we were in Staples a couple of weeks, and so it was boiling. The lights. We had the biggest LCD screen that has ever been used. So under that was like sitting under sitting in a tanning salon. So we'd have to take a break. Every other song or so we take a break.
And you've worked with him for so long in his career. He's now 50 years old. Did you notice anything different? Was it tougher for him to go through these kinds of rehearsals? Was it more taxing, or has he changed in any way?
Well, yeah. When you're over 50, yeah. I'm sure that he was in pain after some rehearsals. But I got to tell you something. The guys on the stage dancing with him, the guys and girls dancing with him, were all in their 20s. Michael's 50. When Michael was on stage with them, there was only one person that you could watch, and that was Michael Jackson.
And what was his relationship? What was he like with the dancers?
He was great. He was always hugging people. He was always saying, "I love you more." The thing about Michael is that he is absolutely, without question, the sweetest person I've ever met in my life. I mean, Michael was such a gentle spirit. When he would be on stage performing a song and the cameraman would bring the camera up, he would kick at the cameraman, he'd punch at the cameraman, and after we'd finished the song, he would apologize. He would say, "It was all in love." I mean, if somebody made the most innocent, off-color joke, it would embarrass him, and he would blush. And he would apologize for me sometimes. I mean, he was just sweet, and even when something went wrong in rehearsal and he had to say, "I want the lighting this way as opposed to that way," it was just done in the most gentle, sweet manner that your feelings couldn't be hurt at all.
Darian, I want to also ask you, what was he saying to you? Why was this his final tour? Did he have a message? I know that he talked a little bit about helping the earth and how important that was, but what did he give to you? What was the point of all of this?
Well, I hope this doesn't sound too syrupy, but he had a message of love, and he was very, very concerned with the environment, and that was part of a theme, a thread through the show. But his main message was one of love and of people coming together, and he was extremely serious about that. And not in a preachy way, but I mean, you know of his song Earth Song and Heal the World and We Are the World. Those were the themes in the show, and they were they were elements that he reiterated all throughout rehearsal, how important it was to get this out. You know, he didn't really talk to us about this being his last show and why that may have been. You know, so I can only speculate about that. But I do know that the bottom line, Michael wanted, he just wanted to send a message of love and to peace to people. And you know, and that's me presuming to speak for him. I'm saying what he said to us. What he said to us, that these things were important, and these were things that he wanted to get across.
And Dorian, for the dancers and for those who are so intimately involved in these final days with Michael Jackson, I understand when they got the news, that you couldn't dance, you couldn't play his songs like so many other people were doing. How is the group handling it? Are they going to be a part of the memorial service, or what are they going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, it's very difficult. You know, I call the singers, and I call Travis Payne, our choreographer. I talked to Kenny Ortega a couple of days ago, and you know, and my wife and I, we sit around, and it's very hard. It's very hard even to talk to you now, just to think about it, just to watch him. You know, everybody's just struggling to get through it, because it's hard to believe that somebody so vibrant and so talented and so amazing. You know, I mean, we were together up until nearly midnight on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday afternoon, he was gone. And I think everybody's having a real tough time with it.
What was the last thing he said to you? Do you remember?
You know, he looked at me as I walked by him off the stage and said, "I love you." That was the last thing he said to me. You know, you know, the thing that I want people to remember is, in rehearsal that night, he was extremely happy. He was seeing the show come to life. You know, go from his vision to being the actual physical parts of the show being put up there. And you know, he was just like a kid in a candy store, because he was seeing his vision come alive. And you know, that's the memory that I'll try to keep with me as I think about this tragedy.